All right, what's happening, good people? What's happening, YouTube world? Welcome to Sunday dinner. I guess we are still setting up. Bam. All right, what's happening, good people? Welcome to Sunday dinner. Allow me to set the table, allow the community, allow the family in, and we're going to go ahead and get started with our Sunday dinner discussion. So I'm going to go ahead and let them in now, and we will get things going here. Appreciate y'all. Let me know where you're watching from. And if this is your first time, hello, everybody. Welcome to Sunday dinner. Appreciate y'all being here. I'm trying to get my waiting room right. All right. Hey. I wasn't sure. Welcome. Happy Easter, everybody. I didn't know, what our show up rate was going to be like. All right, but I see we got some cousins in the building. Y'all are here to have a good discussion. Yeah, happy Easter to everyone. Appreciate y'all joining us today. Let's have a good discussion today and dig into some of the conversations that we know are important for us to have. So today we're talking about cultural wealth, preserving our heritage. That is the overarching discussion of that we'll have today. Hey, while I just play a couple of videos, matter of fact, let me play this one first. Tell me which one are you? All right. Yeah, I saw this video earlier. When was this? Yesterday? It just cracked me up. So I wanted to share that with y'all. Let's see if I can get this right.
Ready or not, here we come.
But basically it says you always got that one cousin, right, that y'all just gonna cut up with no matter what the situation, who's there, what's going on. When that cousin comes over, it's gonna be some good times, right? So my question to you is, are you that cousin, or do you have one of those cousins, right? So that's the question. Which one are you? Are you just showing up? Y'all gonna cut up no matter what the situation is when y'all are together, or do you know that cousin, right? Is that cousin you, or is it somebody else, right? Now, don't act like I'm the only one that got those cousins, or may not be that cousin allegedly. Brother Carl say I'm that cousin, right? All right, my people here, right? Come on, Carl, just stand out, brother. Let me know I'm not alone here in this, right? But I love that energy. Rosalind say I'm that auntie, right. Hey, while y'all are commenting, right? Let me know if this is your first time here. Drop a 1 in the comments if this is your first time. If you've been here multiple times, let me know. Give me a 2 or more. I'm gonna play our intro video and start to get things going. But let me know who is here today, and you can also let me know where you're watching from as well. This is our theme song.
Urban intellectuals.
Open your eyes.
Urban intellectuals. Yeah. In a world that's unjust, I'm screaming, we love us. Equipped with knowledge, we are dangerous. In a world that's unjust, I'm screaming, we love us. Equipped with knowledge, we are dangerous. Yo, you got the power in the palm of your hands. I mean, literally, 52 flashcards, all about black history. They focus on success and less about misery. Information is the missing piece. Are you familiar with Black Wall Street or the Haitian Revolution? How about Angela Davis or Huey Newton? Mark Dean helped create IBM. Richard Wright was a poet. Have you ever heard of him? Get familiar with your culture. Women like Evelyn Granville probably paid the way for Oprah. Trying to be fly like Miss Bessie Coleman or like James Baldwin. I could be a spokesman. Man, the power of the black fist. What you know about the 68 Olympics? Dick Gregory, yeah, he kept it realer than most. Dr. King was instilling the hope. Let's keep it going.
Open your eyes.
Open your eyes. I love it. I love it, y'all in the comments admitting that I'm that cousin, right? I'm that cousin from Baltimore. Yeah, been here multiple times. Hey, Patricia, second time here, and I'm that person. Yeah, everybody loves that cousin. Now, don't we amongst family here at Sunday dinner, y'all. So it's okay. It's okay to be honest today, right? Happy Easter. First time here. All right. Hey, Crystal. Hey, good people who are coming for your first time. I appreciate y'all joining us. Welcome to Sunday dinner, as we call it. So this is an opportunity for us to come together as a family, come together as a community, and have those discussions, right? So most people in the Black community are familiar with that tradition of going to grandma's house, particularly on Easter, right? Easter Sunday would definitely be a family moment. But this gives us an opportunity to come together virtually, right? To share in that soul food or that soulful conversation, as we like to say here at Sunday dinner. We're not serving soul food for the belly. We're serving. I'm gonna get it out. Soul food for the soul food for the community, soul food conversation for all of us to bond and to come together. So we're leaning on that old tradition of going to grandma's house, seeing the cousins, even the ones that cut up, but are having a good time connecting with the family. So we're recreating that and creating a discussion-based opportunity for you to be heard, for your input to be given, and for us to continue to engage in these important conversations that we need to have. All right. And that's what we're doing today. So today we're having one centered around cultural wealth, right? So preserving our heritage. That's going to be the backdrop of the conversation. I have a little video that I'll play to give us something to look at, something to engage and start to build on the conversation. But before I get started, first time Bull City there. Okay, all right. Hey, what's happening? Appreciate y'all joining us for the first time. Gotta love that. All right, but we're gonna have an open and honest conversation. I'll end up opening to think of talk show. What I usually say. AM talk radio. If you remember AM talk radio, where you have an opportunity to call in and be heard on the subject. So I'll be queuing up conversations for you to be heard here today at Sunday dinner. Again, we all family here. We have more things in common and more goals in common as a community than we have differences. And I think that it's a good time to celebrate those and to have these conversations so that we can continue to build upon them. So we can build stronger people, stronger families, stronger communities. So all of us can win, right? All right. One thing I do want to know along the Sunday dinners line is if we were having Sunday dinner physically and you were going to grandma's house, what dish would you bring? What's your go-to dish? If you were going to feed the family, now folks gonna be talking about who brought what item, right? So what would be your go-to dish? Let me know down in the comments. While we're having that fun in the comments, just for the new people and everyone, I'll play like a overview video of Urban Intellectuals, who we are, and some of the things that we have to offer. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments on what you would bring.
Urban Intellectuals. Good morning, Freddie. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing today?
Happy Black History Month.
Happy Black History Month. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for being with us. First, tell us about Urban Intellectuals. What is this?
Our Urban Intellectuals makes it fun and easy to learn Black history. That is our mission. That is our core responsibility. And we created a suite of Black history products and services designed to rewrite the narrative about Black and African people in the world.
Obviously very important. How'd you come up with the idea for Urban Intellectuals?
Oh, I love to say that it started almost 100 years ago because my father's 95 years old and he's still alive, born in 1929, but he instilled in me the importance of understanding our history and our culture and the pride and respect that it instills inside of us. And while my children were matriculating through the school district, I couldn't believe that the limited discussion about the contributions to humanity that Black people have made were minuscule at best. And I kept thinking somebody should do something. Somebody should do something. In 2016, I became somebody.
You were the somebody that did something, right? And typically, probably the conversations were in February.
Yes, typically centered around February, centered around the same 8 to 12 people every single year, which no disrespect to them and their contributions, which is amazing, but there's so much more glorious
A lot
history.
more. Okay, so you've got a very cool product.
Thank you.
That kind of makes it fun, right? Makes it fun. Tell me about your flashcards.
Our Black History flashcards feature 52 cards in each deck. There's actually 6 in the series, so we have
6 volumes.
6 volumes in the
Different
series.
cards,
So
okay.
we're really expanding the conversation centered around Black and African contributions to humanity. I like to have that conversation because this is really the story of the world, right? Black history is world history, and too often it's the missing pages of world history. So
And I see on here 1968 Olympics.
yes.
Bessie Coleman, Black Wall Street. So just
Yes.
all different things to kind of bring it to light.
Bring it to light,
Yeah.
and expand the conversation in a easy to understand format. Because on the back of the cards are just simple bullet pointed information about the people, and the first time that you're exposed to it, it just opens your mind and makes you more curious and thirsty for
Right.
more.
Who are these for?
These are for just about everyone. We
Right.
have people who are using them with their young children, as young as 18 months, all the way to 95. I'll cap it there with my father's age because most of us aren't exposed to this information, so it's new to all of us.
And you also have playing cards. That's
Yes,
fun.
yes. So we infuse Black history and culture into everything that we do. So instead of playing with a regular deck of playing cards,
Sure.
We have powerful Black imagery weaved into the playing card deck.
Exposure.
Exposure,
What is this?
exposure,
This looks
exposure.
like fun.
Yes, yes.
I don't know how you do a mystery puzzle though.
Yeah, you don't know what the finished product looks like, so that's the challenge. But I can tell you, there's Black history wrapped up inside.
Sure. Okay. Is it all the same or is every box different?
The future editions will be different.
They'll be
This
different.
particular one
This
is the same right now, but as we expand the line,
Yeah.
we're definitely going to do more.
Right. And what else? You guys aren't just in the playing card and flashcard business.
Oh, no. We actually have 19 physical products centered around Black history and culture, but we take it a step further, and we have classes that we teach live Black history to children inside of the Sankofa Club. You can see that at sankofaclub.com, and to adults as well inside of our Sankofa Circle. But we don't stop there.
Yeah.
We actually take people on Black history travel experiences to Africa and beyond.
That's so great.
Yeah.
What do people, how do people, when they come back from something like that, how do they?
Oh, you're
Speechless,
totally
probably.
speechless, totally transformed. Because it's one thing to learn about the history and the culture. It's
Yeah.
another thing to go see it and experience it for yourself. Be exposed to the food, the culture, the people. It's just a beautiful conversation. You come back changed.
Yeah, I bet. And you've been on several of these, I presume.
I have.
Yeah.
I have. I really enjoy it. I love watching the people have these experiences
Yeah.
and go through these breakthroughs and breaking down the misconceptions about the contributions of Black and African people to the world.
Where can we go for more information about urban intellectuals?
You can go to urbanintellectuals.com, and on all platforms, we are Urban Intellectuals.
Okay, perfect. And you got some of these for.
Excellent. All right, so that's a pretty good overview of everything that we do here at Urban Intellectuals. So I know when you see, sometimes some of you have seen the flashcards, some of you might have been in some of our membership courses, you might have seen some of the different things that we do, Sunday dinner. There's always something going on here at Urban Intellectuals, but we have our hands in a lot. But the whole thing is predicated upon the mission of empowering our community, creating platforms, creating solutions, creating opportunities for us to learn more, grow stronger, get better, right? We believe in the Garvey theory, right, of Universal Negro Improvement Association, right? So really just working on the individual self to become better individuals, better people, better family members, so that we can generate better families make better communities makes a stronger diaspora, right? But it all starts with us. So that's kind of the mission of what Urban Intellectuals is on overall. My name is Freddie Taylor. I'm the CEO and founder of Urban Intellectuals, and empowerment is our main mission. Today at Sunday dinner, good quality discussion and community building is our main mission, but we're going to dig into cultural wealth. We're often talking about generational wealth, but we're going to dive into cultural wealth today. But I always say that we are interested in finding solutions for our community. And I understand generational wealth is important, right? So we're talking cultural wealth today, but it's not like we're dissing generational wealth. So I don't want anyone to take it that way. In fact, we have I believe in not only trying to build wealth, right, and saving and cutting our expenses, especially in this crazy environment as prices continue to escalate all around us. But I'm under no delusion that we can save our way to wealth. that we can save our way out of this. I think we have to continue to build skills and empower ourselves in order to either increase the income that we're currently getting by a raise, a change in position, change in job, or adding additional skills that generate more cash flow. To talk about one of them, we're speaking on Tuesday. We have an Everyday AI Summit with the queen of AI, Sister Alicia Little. If you haven't seen her yet, this is an excellent opportunity to come to a free session here. Well, it'd be on Zoom, right? But this is happening Tuesday evening. Did I close the time? I want to say 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the time that it starts. But if you click the link, you can go ahead and see that. But we are, again, creating opportunities, right, for people to find the solutions that they need. I just want to continue to empower our community for this changing and evolving future that is happening, right? Sometimes we try to put our head in the sand and pretend like something isn't happening, but AI is coming. So rather than fearing it, I feel like we should lean into it and be a part of the revolution. So we're bringing in the AI expert, Alicia Little. There we go. Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, April the 22nd. You can click the link, Everyday AI Summit, to reserve your seat. Again, it's free. And it's just a beautiful experience with about an important conversation, right? That's upon us, this world of AI, right? And the changing future. But for those that are in the know, anybody use AI in here? Give me a me in the comments if you are leaning into AI, if you're using it. I would say on a semi-daily basis. All right, give me a me in the comments. If daily or a semi-daily basis, I'd say 3-4 times a week. Crystal says she uses it at work. Yvonne uses it daily. Jarvis. Carl, you better be using it 3-4 times a day, right? There we go. Who has not been on AI at all? Give me a 0 in the comments if you haven't engaged it at all. Okay, your child is on it. All right, Kalanda, Joan, Karen. Okay, that's interesting. Wow. Okay. Then I would definitely say oh man, for all of my zeros, show up. Come on to this class. Let me introduce you to something, because it's not about all of the deep end stuff all the time, right? It's about simple uses that can make your days go by easier, to make take your production up, to even simplify your personal life around the home, right? AI can assist with all of this. Just sign up for the free seminar or summit, excuse me. Yeah, start simple and growth will come. Yeah, Carlin, you know how Alicia works. She's really going to give you some practical and actual uses of this information. If you've been using it, definitely lean in, because there's always another level to this. I've been going through some trainings recently, and it's like, oh my God, the types of things that can be done. Yeah, it's addictive. Yeah, but it's also, it can be very fruitful when it's used properly. I know there's a lot of stigma and a lot of concern around AI in our community. And, I think we got to take the stigma off. I think we got to kind of lean into this thing. We are already so far behind, right? And it's like, we're talking about using it. And really the deeper $1 trillion conversation is in creating it, developing the software behind it, developing the hardware that it runs on, and then developing the systems that people use to engage it. Like, that's really where the vast amount of capital is going to come from all of this. And we're kind of missing that boat, but that goes back to our poor math scores, our poor engagement across the board. Of course, I'm not talking about you or your children, right? But as a whole, like, we are falling behind kind of dramatically. And then I wonder if some of that is cultural, right? See how I tried to bring that back in? I tried to bring that piece back in, right? Is this like the environment that we are cultivating as a people, or like what environment are we cultivating as a people? I think that's might even be like a bigger part of the question. Like, what exactly are we doing? And like when we have our legacy conversations, um, I'm we talk about generational wealth, right? But like, really, what is this cultural wealth? What does that look like? What does it look like to pass down solid structures, systems, and processes to your children, grandchildren, and it grows into, you know, the aunts and the cousins and everybody's engaging with certain principles. Y'all feel what I'm saying? Let me catch up with y'all saying down here. My kids knew about ChatGPT way before I did. I use AI to assist with everything from meal prepping, budgeting. Yeah, curriculum planning for my son and your homeschool. Oh, yeah, you got to lean into it, Faith. That's great. I love that. And those are some of the things that I know Alicia will be talking about on Tuesday. We help you to go to the next level, whatever it is. Yeah. It's just a lot of opportunity in and around the AI. I mean, there's always opportunity. I know, like, as a community, we are, how do I put this lightly? Concerned, right? Is that a good way to put it? Concerned about the political landscape. Let's call it that. The political landscape, how it's impacting the economic landscape of the world. Or I got this. There's this meme or something that I saw that said, you know, the American economy and the country is falling apart, and you know, meanwhile, black folks is learning this new line dance, right? Where the fans at? Right? I don't even know the name of the song. Boots on the ground, is that? I got to get it right. It's like a cultural phenomenon, right? But the community seems to be detached from what's going on. Is that accurate? I don't know. Like that, how y'all feel? I know I judge the world based on memes, y'all. We used to watch news. Now I judge the world based on me. I kid, right? I kid. But it just seems like we seem to be a bit detached from all of that, what's happening. But these conversations still need to be had, right? And I just wonder, in our community though, like what is the cultural element looking like, and how do we pass that along to the next generation? We can't be detached. Too much is at stake. Doc says too much is at stake. Yeah, but when wasn't too much at stake, right? Isn't it always a pivotal moment? We are not. We're still watching them with the side eye. Just rested, right? Yeah. I remember. What was that like? The black women are sitting this one out or something. And I think last week we played the video talking about the marching or the protest or whatever was going on, and they were like, "Where are the black people at? We're marching for you." And like, you know, black folks kind of giggling at all of that. What's happening, Springfield? All right, Brother Grady, appreciate you joining us. All right, so I wanted to steer the conversation into this cultural wealth preservation, right? So when it comes to your family, like who is the keeper of the stories? Now we've identified that most of y'all is that cousin that's gonna come in and act up, right? But in your family, who is the keeper of the stories, right? Who is that person? It could be you. That could be you in the family as well, right?
What?
But who is that? Deborah, Mike, you got something to say? You want to add to that?
Yeah, I'm the keeper of the stories in my
Okay.
family. I write the books about my family, children's book form. Popping beans, we all at grandma's house, auntie's house, popping the beans, sharing stories, swapping stories, telling Uncle Jimmy who has the recipe to the what do you call that pie? Everybody just peach cobbler.
Okay.
Pass it down, and then the next story is Nana's mean collard greens. and she lived across the street from Aunt Mildred. Aunt Mildred had the plaque, the best cook in the hood, and Nana had the plaque, who's going to help me wash these greens? And so the third story is Cousin's Christmas. Every year we get together, we call it Cousin Christmas. I have 100 first cousin because my grandpa had 12.
Wow.
12 children. My dad, and then we get together, and it's called Cousin's Christmas. So I'm the keeper of the family stories.
Wow.
The next book is called, The next book is called Through My Mother's Eyes. It's an anthology about my mom. We have a banquet, and then I'm doing Papa Said. I was going to call it Papa Was a Rolling Stone, but I said, no, I'm not going to call it that.
So you created all of these books based on stories from your family?
Yes, and we have a family-owned publishing company called Extreme Overflow Publishing. So the publisher is the CEO of the publishing company is my cousin, and her mother is the illustrator. So everybody looks like somebody in the family. So that's how the stories are passed down from generation to generation.
Wow.
And I always have a scripture in it. I always have a scripture. So the last scripture was, God, you are God from generation to generation, thou art God. So we don't care what these people are doing, these MAGA peoples and stuff. We don't care what they're doing. We already know that we're God people, and God got us. So that's the books. They're encouraging.
Wow.
So I'll send you the link.
Yeah. Okay, that's beautiful. I just love that y'all got, like that type of organization going on and being intentional about sharing the stories and passing it along. Who did you learn the stories from? Was it all the stories passed to you? You just happened to
I went to Tufts University, and I'm a child studies major. So I took a class in young adult writing at this community college one year, and the lady was an author of children's YA books, young adult books, and she really liked my story, Popping Beans. So it was the first little story I wrote, and then I had to tell my dad. I said, "Dad, you like this?" And he said, "Yeah, I like it." So he said, "Okay." So then I pitched it to the family publishing company, and they was just opening up. So I feel like it was downloaded from above, from God, because they were just opening up the children's division, and so they gave me a discount rate of $500 for the whole book, and everybody had a part in the book. So my nephew, he's a chef. So at the end of the book, he put some culinary terms in it, and then he said, make it coloring pages. So at the end of it is coloring pages for the kids. And it's in Africa. Everybody has a copy of Poppin' Beans at churches. Everybody has it. And I live in a predominantly white neighborhood, but all these kids love this book. I miss Poppin' Beans. The reason why I had a Barnes and Nobles event, and they put it in the parenting section because everybody's in the kitchen popping the beans, helping, making cakes. And my daughter, guess what my daughter's doing? She's on the cell phone. So that when the parents get to that point, oh yes, well, I can relate to that, being on the cell phone. So I told Lee, I said, get off the cell phone and come here and sit and pop these beans. I got a great story to tell you. I'll show you the poster. Let me go get the poster.
Okay. All right, just let me know when you're back. I think that's amazing, right? To be doing to have like a system for that. I'm glad she found her passion putting that information together. Brother Carl says they named me the president of the family organization, so I'm trying to figure out how to keep the stories in a way where it's not one person. Okay. I love it. The family organization. That's what I'm talking about.
I didn't know they did it. It was a reunion I wasn't even at, and they voted me the president of the family organization, sent me a trophy, and all this stuff. I sent your whole trophy in the mail. Like you the president now. I'm like, oh, I guess that's the way they're gonna get me to show up. But yeah,
That's how it happens sometimes. This is
but
my book.
yeah, and you're giving me a really good idea. I might just do
Now you
that.
see me, that's me frying chicken on the beat in the background.
Oh, I love
But
it.
I can't fry chicken in real life because my chicken don't come out good. I just eat the rest of the people. I got two chefs in the family. See the plaque cooking the hood?
Yeah, I love it.
That's giving me a real good idea on how to preserve the. Let's just write a book, and I can like on
Send me an
Amazon.
email.
You can keep updating it and keep up. Just keep updating the versions
Send
over
me.
and over
I'm
again
gonna
as
put
more
my
stuff comes
email.
in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put my email in the chat, and you could send me an email. I'll send you to my publisher. She'll give you a good deal.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Drop it in the chat. That's good.
I love that though. Yeah. It's like, yeah. So it don't have to be a one person because unfortunately we all do die. And we don't
One
want the stories
promise.
to die with people. But yeah, I like that joint. I like that.
Yeah.
I'll tell
And
you where you can get my book too.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna announce it to the family reunion in
It's on
July. That's what we're
Amazon.
doing.
all right. And look, you also gave us a good reminder. You better show up to that family reunion. Some might be brewing. Some
No,
might be
look,
brewing.
it's at my house this year. So yeah.
Okay.
I'm like,
Okay,
look,
you
we
gonna
gonna
be
have
there
it.
this year.
I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, you gonna be there this year. That's what's up. I love this. All right, so we got a good conversation going. We got a couple of people saying that they are. Grady says my brother is responsible one for tracing our family origin to West Gambian. All right. Also,
Wow.
since my grandmother has joined our ancestors, my older brother is a family storyteller. The brother goes back to the 1800s. What was shared with him. Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent, capturing those stories, because now you can keep it going, right? Because if you never would have caught that, right? And then, like say, when we go to join the ancestors, those stories go with us. So let's make sure that we are making an effort to preserve those stories. Such an excellent idea. We applaud your family's ingenuity and commitment to transferring your family history. Yeah, you got to be intentional like that. So what stories, if you were going to contribute a story? So Brother Carl talked about, maybe doing a book, like Sister Deborah, right? Maybe a comprehensive book, whatever the case may be. What stories from your family would you contribute? Right, somebody, you can go ahead and unmute your mic or raise your Zoom hand, come into the conversation. Jantra, did I see you? Unmute.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I am loving the conversation. And Miss Deborah Mitchell, I am ordering your book.
I love it.
And I will post your book
Thank
on my
you.
Facebook page. But your
Oh,
history is outstanding. I wanted to ask you, for your family's publishing company, did you take on new clients?
Yes, I put my email in there. This is what
Very
it's all
good.
about. It's about sharing information. My mother used to say Black people are one big family. That's what she
Yes,
said.
absolutely.
I put
Absolutely.
my email information in there. Freddie knows me. And DeborahMitchell.com. Send it to
And
Extreme
I know
Ocean
you now.
Publishing.
Now I know you, Deborah. You are my sister.
And then I have I did 2 books, anthologies, because I'm a minister. I ain't all that saved, but I try to keep it real. I got a TV show called Keeping It Real. So anyway, I have 2 anthologies, Freddie. Hold on now. This one here.
Freddie, make her the show. She is the show.
Freddie, this one here. This is called It Crushed Me, But I Survived.
Oh my God. Destined to
Destined to
win.
win.
Wow.
You see me down there? See me down there, my little head down there somewhere?
Oh, outstanding.
And so everybody, this is Tammy Vaughn. She's a minister. And she got all these women together. You can get this. You should email me for this one because you gotta get this from me personally. I'll sign it to you for you. So Freddie, you see this one? Now everybody did a story. I suffered a breakdown, a nervous breakdown, when I went to Paris from Tufts. I went to Tufts University, and when I went to Tufts in Paris, I thought it'd be different from me out there, but they're just as racist and crazy as, and they stalk on the young kids, young women. So I had a little breakdown, but I survived. That's why it's called It Crushed Me, but I survived. And the name of my book is Dear Love Lifted Me.
Oh, no.
I talk about how my family got me through it. I went back to Tufts. I had to leave school for about a year, but then I came back and I survived. So with the help of the Lord, that's why when people don't want to talk about the Lord, I said, okay, I'm not going to talk about the Lord, but it was family and help with through God and prayer. So then we have all these women. This one woman said, childless, but not by choice. This one here, and I got to know all the ladies. She was a people pleaser in the pews. So you can get this book too. It's like a therapy session. You read some of these women's testimonies and stuff, and then you feel, wow, this lady here, she was a Muslim. She said, "Can I be in the book? I'm a Muslim." They said, "Yeah, you could be in the book." This lady, he was married. She had 6 kids, and the man she was cheating on her. Wasn't acting right. She got a divorce. Took care of herself and those kids. This says the disease to please, but now I'm at ease.
I love it. I love it. That's great. There's some questions for you down in the comments. Like maybe you can type in and
That's the
follow up.
author, Tammy Vaughn. Okay.
Okay.
Y'all ready for me? Oh my God. How did I get to be in front and center?
No, that was good. That was good. I'm gonna let
I was getting ready to do my boots on the ground dance.
Where the fans at?
Where the fans at?
I'm gonna let Jen jump back in. So where were you at, sister? All right.
Bro, Freddie, she is my sister. She is amazing. I love her. You hear
Because
me?
you think that everybody's life is like peachy keen and stuff. Some people think, well, you got it all made and stuff. No, I didn't have it made. I had a breakdown. I had a serious mental illness. But for the grace of God and my family, I got back on my feet. I have to take medicine, bipolar, because I have to take medicine, but I got back on my feet. And there's no shame in my game. The Bible says you overcome by the testimony because somebody else could be encouraged. They might be depressed, Freddie. They might be anxious. They might be thinking about, oh, Trump is coming after me. Where's my Social Security check? Where the fans at, right? Where's my Social Security check coming in? Don't worry because God will take care of you. God will take care of you. And that's my story. So anyway, let me tell you how I meet these people. I met Tammy.
Wait. Let me let the next speaker in.
All right, I'm done.
Come on back later. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, but God will. Ain't that true, Freddie? We don't have to be worried, do we?
No, we don't. We don't.
I'm gonna let you finish off where I left off.
All right. I see Sister Erica got her hand up.
So my family and I are meeting in the fall, and we don't necessarily have appointed people at this time, although my aunt has been a keeper of the records and she's been compiling. So I guess that I would say that she's the one. And when we meet, we're going to have a family meeting about generational wealth and some land that my grandfather left. And so while we're there, we're actually going to have a workshop about our family stories. And this year, I've been sitting in on a class at the online school that I teach, and it's called the Family Lore Project. And so it's been having the students go and interview their family members about different topics. So and then they are learning how to compile and put together their family stories. So it's really wonderful because not only are the parents, the grandparents, aunts, uncles, the elders are recalling these stories, the children are connecting with their elders in a special way by interviewing their family members and asking them questions. It's been really beautiful. I'm going to read the titles from one of the students in the class. He has collected his mom and dad's love story. And so he titled that one Writer's Love because he found out that they were both writers. Wow. And he said one interesting thing that he thought was funny that he found out was that they met at McDonald's. Now the family is vegan, so he thought that it was absolutely crazy that they met at McDonald's, and all his life they've been vegan. So, he's learned some interesting things. He has his grandparents' love story called Hotel Business because his grandfather was, looking for a hotel, and his grandmother was a person that helped people, find hotel rooms, and that's how they met. And so, he's got aunts and uncles' love stories, his mom's math story, because a lot of times we become disconnected in math and science. So one of the assignments was for them to find their parents' math story or their aunts and uncles and grandparents, and where it got fuzzy for them. And just they discovered, a lot of them discovered that their family members are good at math. And or reconnected later with math. So that has helped them with their math. And then their superpower story, which is, what are they experts at? So these are just different examples letting the children interview their family members. And it keeps that bond with their family members. When we asked this particular student, what he thought, he was just telling all the things that surprised and delighted him about learning about his family. And then he just declared, I love my family. And it was just so beautiful to see them, connected to their family in such a special way. So I really like that. And so by sitting in the class, I was like, I need to do this with my family. So I presented it to them. And when we go and see the land that my grandfather left, we're going to have a family reunion, and we're going to have a workshop so that we can learn our family stories and share them with the children. So
wow, that is beautiful. So let me get this straight. You were teaching the students that you teach to do that?
So I teach in an online school, and I teach science, melanin mastery. I teach melanin. And when we are in the school as teachers, we can sit on any class that we want. So I sit in on the family lore class. I'm a student there in that class, and I'm learning, how to teach the students to tell their stories or get their stories and to write about their stories. In the past, the school has published books with a compilation of the scholars' stories. So I'm just sitting in, and I'm learning with the students to get my own family stories.
Okay, no, I love that. I love that. Okay, I just missed at the beginning, like, where it came. I couldn't tell. Were you teaching or did you? Okay, so you sat in on it. That's beautiful though. I love the idea of intergenerational engagement, right? And then the children buy into it because they wrote the story, right? Like they were part of it. So as they grow up, not only do they find affinity for the family, but then they grow up, they become adults that get that this is pretty important. I need to make sure that the next generation is involved. Like,
Absolutely.
they buy in, you get buy-in. I love it.
And we talk about our culture, and we, in this subject, we're talking about our culture. And in our society, in Western society, students or kids are kind of taught to be alienated from their family. Oh, your parents don't know anything, and you're, this and you're that. This helps them to be, more connected and stay connected with their families. So I really have enjoyed seeing or learning the children's stories and learning how to find out about my own family stories.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that was great. Right. Everybody's like, okay, taking notes on that one, right? All right, Brother Grady.
Oh, all righty, brother Freddie. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Brother Freddie. Yeah. Good afternoon, brother Freddie, and urban intellectual residents and family members. I don't know if you all recall in the historic mini docu series Roots when Alex Haley he mentioned how important it is to talk with family elders about your family history and keep a journal as well because that is how he was able to go back to the African Kente by started off by interviewing one of his relatives, I believe one of his grandmothers. And so it's very important that we do that. We may find some family members that may not want to discuss certain aspects of the family, particularly those who were living in that generation of Jim Crow, or who may been descendants of parents who were who were slaves. But yet and still, it's important that we know as a people our family origin because it gives us a lot of pride. And family origin is like universal. you know, uh, Everyone should be in touch with their family origin to know their place in this world and their place in our society. And as Black people, we were discouraged from that because a lot of our family members who were elders were Brother Freddie and urban intellectual family members. They were like descendants of that Jim Crow era, so I know with my mom, she hated discussing about situation. I mean, not situation, but discussing that Jim Crow era because it brought back painful memories. And I respected that. But you do have family members that don't mind, and some elders that don't mind because they want our young people to know our history and definitely want our young people to know the family history because it's important, because other race of people, they take pride in knowing their family history and they have no shame about it. But due to the fact one of the greatest inhumane crime was committed against us, those folks, they want us to forget about our family history because when you are guilty as they are committing one of the greatest inhumane crimes against humanity, you don't want to remember. And hell, you damn sure don't want to see the descendants, who you committed that, the descendant of those who you committed that crime against walking this earth. So for them, it's a guilt trip.
Yeah.
But we have to get past their guilt trip. They guilt trip, that ain't got nothing to do with us. That's between them and God. So I encourage all of us to get connected with our family history, Brother Freddie. And peace to you and thank you and my urban intellectual community members and family for allowing me to speak on this platform today.
Yeah, always appreciate you, brother. Good insight. Sister Jantra.
Hi, I would like to say two things. Yesterday, I live on a shopping corridor in Philadelphia. And yesterday, I wanted a smoothie. So I stopped in one of the newer stores and I found out it was a Black owned business. But what was interesting, the mother and father who owned the business, they turned it over to their two teenage sons, who is now their business. But I was so impressed at how professional they were. But talk about second generation Black owned businesses and a gentrified community is not what we were told. Gentrification is not what we were told in a Black community. So I was very impressed about that. It's called Juice the World. They're making the best alkaline smoothies. And I also wanted to talk about, in terms of cultural wealth. I come from a group of people who my father was born in 1917 in Virginia. He was a quiet man, very soft spoken. He went into the military, served his time in the 40s, but when he came out of the service, he worked as a chef. I think I told you guys the story, but he decided, I'm going to own my own property. I'm going to own my own business. He opened a restaurant because he loved to cook, and he served soul food, Southern dishes for 45 years in West Philadelphia, which was considered an anomaly. But that type of entrepreneurship, in terms of learning the importance of saving your money, how to bank your money, how to have a business, how to own property, how to be nice and kind and respectful towards the customers who come in because they're paying your bills, and how to enjoy what you are doing. Those are like the treasures of what we need to pass down to our family, to our children, our grandchildren. And within my family, we have a large number of people who own their own properties, who are professionals, who own a business, who write books, who have written books. But it's that kind of, when you know that your ancestors, your parents, your grandparents came from, they were just born right out of the end of emancipation plaque. They were born at that era, and all they saw in terms of Jim Crow, in terms of segregation, the horrors. And my dad never talked about that. It was like he made a conscious decision that all the horrors that he knew were out there. He protected his family, he protected his children, and he made sure that, not that we were raised in a cocoon, but he made sure that we were not jaded by the world. We knew the world was a piece of, I call it a shit fest at 67 years of age. But what was interesting, he made sure that we were not affected by the negativity. And I want to say to people, we have to understand, I had a master's degree in health education. We must understand there are millions of studies and research being done about those poor Black people and their mental health issues. And these folks, I ain't gonna say white folks, but these folks are making billions of dollars off of the grants and the research. And right, we talked about this already, about we're the poor and we're mentally ill. No, we are not mentally ill. We need to stop telling people we are mentally ill. If we have a downside and something happens and we're like, kind of like, I'm going to be in bed for a whole week. That's where I was at. But the system on a whole is so profoundly psychotic or mentally ill. And they are the ones who are doing these heinous, who just snickered? Was that you, Freddie? I thought somebody had snickered. But the whole world who are doing these studies on these poor Black people, and stop saying Black, we are melanated people. We are the geniuses. They are mentally ill. They are profoundly insecure. They are dysfunctional at their core. And they need to be the ones getting treatment. We need to stop carrying their burden, their responsibilities. And yeah, we sat out all the marches that are now coming across my timeline because it's not my party. We did what we were supposed to do. We set the stage. We have accomplished what we have accomplished. And we would look at what we have accomplished in terms of educators, in terms of scholars, in terms of, are we really the minorities? No, we are not the minorities. We are the majority in what, America? So we have to stop believing a narrative and just remember, everything they say about us, always believe the opposite, if that makes sense to anybody. Thank you, Freddie.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like you what you say, because when you talk about mental illness, we don't have to claim that. You know what I'm saying? Where'd the lady go?
I'm here. Is that Miss Mitchell?
Yeah, we don't have to claim that mental illness
right.
stuff. But
I agree.
I want to show you, this is the last book. It's called Through My Mother's Eyes.
Oh, wow.
Through My Mother's Eyes. There's 8 of us. My mother died in 2022. So this is my last project, and it's going to be a banquet. We're going to sit down, invite all my family, everybody who wants to come, and I'm going to get an award, and we're going to stay overnight, and we're going to talk about our moms and celebrate our moms.
Miss Mitchell, how old are you?
I'm 63.
I'm your big sister.
Yes, and I like what you were. I had stepped away for a minute, but then I heard you talk about don't say about mental illness, whatever you were saying. I'd like to hear what you was trying to say about that again. What'd you say?
Well,
Can
here's
you
the thing.
repeat that?
The world told us that the Black people are profoundly mentally ill because of everything we have been subjected to for generations. I'm not making light about it. There was some real stuff happened. But the people that subjected us to all that trauma and their descendants who sat back and knew it happened, they are the ones that are mentally ill. We are sad about what happened. We have risen above it. We have overcome. We are the original people on this planet that came here, that were seated on this planet. So nobody has anything on us. Right, Freddie?
Yes. Freddie, are you there? Because I was listening to Joy Ann Reed. She did the readout. She got fired from MSNBC. And she said the Chinese said that they're ancient people. And she said, we're an ancient people. We, African American Black people, we're an ancient people. We've been here. The Chinese said they're ancient people. They've been here 5,000 years. We've been here thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. That 400 little blip that happened to us, that's nothing that happened to us, right? We are strong people, right?
Definitely.
And we ain't
So
going nowhere.
everybody,
Go ahead, Miss. You're my sister, big sister.
yes, your big sister. My name is Jantra. I love you.
I love you.
Everybody wants to tell the story of the melanated people. They need to stop and step back. We are now in the 21st century, writing our own stories, truthfully, no false narratives. But because we also know their history, we are including their false narratives and writing the correct information about their people. Because we are intelligent, we are geniuses, we are brilliant people. And nobody can tell our story except for us.
Right.
Now, I don't know if you guys heard of Letitia James. She's an attorney general from New York. She was the one who took Trump to court and won a $500 million settlement against Donald Trump. She's a Black woman, and she's the attorney general for New York. And Letitia James has been fighting the good faith. She said, I ain't backing down. Trump tried to say that you're trying to put her in prison now because she's trying to turn something around and say, we're coming after her. I don't know if y'all heard the story. She said, that's just a revenge tour. She said, I ain't scared.
Yeah, well, I did. We definitely ain't scared. We'd have been through hell.
Okay, but I'm gonna give you that name, and I'm gonna be quiet now. I said my piece. I got it out.
Okay.
I'm good. Grandma's good.
Okay. All right. So all right. So what I want you to think about is the stories. What stories would you tell, right? So what stories in your family do you feel like should be shared that you can tell here today, right? So somebody go ahead and raise your hand and let me know what stories in your family would you add to. Okay, let's imagine you're doing the anthology book idea, right? And you're writing about your family, your childhood, your experience, something that happened that you think is important that the next generation should know about. What are some of the things that you might talk about, right? You can drop it in the comments, or I would prefer if you raise your hand and join the conversation. And maybe your story or maybe your share will inspire somebody here today, right? I'll start because I got to thinking about this. I got a lot to say. Like if somebody don't want to say nothing, right? Like I can keep going. Now, y'all know I can talk too. But I was thinking about like, my childhood. I did like this interview for this documentary yesterday, and they were asking me these questions. And you know how like after you get out of an interview or after you get out of a discussion, you walking away and you like, I should have said, oh man, I could have added.
Yep.
Like, oh, everything is so clear afterwards. Like it's interesting. So I was like, I'm gonna come to Sunday dinner and I'm gonna say what I should have said. But they were asking me about my upbringing and really like how I felt. Like what's the unspoken narrative that's kind of drilled into your head as a child, right? What it means to be Black in America, how you gotta act around those folks. We talking like respectability politics. We need to be dressed in a certain way. You gotta speak the English this way. You gotta code switch and all of those things, right? Like, but what are like they were asking me basically what were like, I would see it as like the mental chains that were like put at me, like what it means to be, how I need to act in this white man's world, quote unquote. And like all of my responses was never really like, mama said you gotta, you gotta wear your clothing like this or whatever. Like I was just taught that, that you're great, you're worthy, you're intelligent, you're talented. Just go do that and you'll be fine, right? Like, and it's like, it's interesting. But then as I like later, I started thinking about it. I was like, well, I kind of grew up differently. One, I grew up with parents that could be my grandparents. And I was the baby of like 7 children with a large age gap. So I think like that had something to do with it, like kind of growing up with grandma. That's my mama though, right? But like grandma like interacts with the children differently, I'll say that. But then also I was born in the mid 70s, so I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and it wasn't the Black Power era, but it was definitely the Black Pride era. Like we was proud to be Black. Public Enemy was out. We was rocking Africa medallions, right? X-Clan was playing in the radio. Even the gangster rap was still proud Black American experience and music and stuff we could relate to. Like the Cosby Show was airing. The kids went to Hillman, right? Went to the Black College. Spike Lee is painting the cinema with the culture and the movement. Like it was just a lot of, it was just a lot of positivity being spun around, right? And I never really had those barriers put on me. I don't know. I don't know. That's just my experience, right? I'm looking forward to seeing the whole documentary. But like, so I was starting to think about some of the stories, like what stories would I tell? And I think one of the stories that I would tell, and I'm gonna start telling more even publicly, is like my father's involvement in the Senior Olympics, right? I think it's like I think it's like he got a couple of stories. Like one, this is like a more him, but it's more him, right? So he always is like, I got to be doing something. I got to be aiming for something. But about 20 something years ago, he joined the Senior Olympics, right? Like in his 70s. And early, it's almost been 25 years old, right? And like, we just thought it was the coolest thing ever, right? And like, we would follow him around the country, going to his track meets. And I just think it's like the coolest thing ever because he's still working out and striving for goals, in as a senior, right? And like we're from that generation where, you old at 55 and it's like over with, right? Like, don't expect much out of life. And I know the seniors I know are just way different than that, right? Like that's like an old outdated myth. But I just love that story. I just love the story. And of course I could go into detail about what track meets and and the stories that because the family would come from around the country, right? Like we would go and make a thing out of it. And if I would say this to any of you, if you've never been to a Senior Olympics, I suggest you go, right? And they always got these events around all over the country, right? Because you got to qualify in your state, you got to qualify in your region in order to go to the nationals. And then there's a whole international field as well, right? Yeah, it is an amazing experience though, because you go, I mean, it's a track meet. Like they are serious out there competing, and it's just the most inspiring thing I think I've ever seen, right? I love it. But now I'm of the age and the grade, they be like, are you registered? I be like, hey, I ain't registered. I don't qualify just yet. They like, oh well, stick around, stick around, right? They recruiting me, but I think it's the coolest thing, right?
Well, they have the Special Olympics too.
Yeah,
Special Olympics for people with disabilities. But I never heard of Senior Olympics. That's different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
They have to be seniors. What did he compete in? Your father?
Oh
Did he
man.
have to train and everything?
Oh yeah, so he did the 100 meters, the 200 meters, the 400, and the long jump, right? So it was just wild watching him doing the long jump, man. Like, and running a quarter mile, right? Like it's just he did that for like 20, 25 years. And he still wants to compete. He's 95, he still wants to compete, but he got a bad knee. So it's really messing with him. So he's trying to get this knee right. And I think that's part of the story that needs to be told because
it's a book. You could write that book.
I got something I'm gonna share some more, but and then my second story again. Somebody can read. I can see a couple of hands up. The second story I'll say really quickly is I just always loved his curiosity. My dad's curiosity for life and technology, and he just always was willing to invest in something to see how it worked, right? Like, so I grew up like modern day children in that ever since I can remember, there was a computer in the house. When I was born in the 70s, we just had a computer in the house. Like it was never a big deal to me. And, I just grew up on the computer, right? And, that's just dad, though, being on the cutting edge. And he's still like that, y'all. He is the gadget man. He buys all the gadgets. So I know all the tech companies love him because he go buy the tech version, he just wants to know. He's so curious. I love it.
Is he reading? Is he a reader?
Say it again.
Did he read a lot?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's a reader. Yeah, loves to learn, loves to grow. Still reading, still growing. Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso is his absolute favorite right now that he's studying and following. I
Did he go to college? Did he go to college?
No, he didn't.
But he still was a lifelong learner.
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna share some. I'll share something more about him. But Janelle has her hand up. Come on in with your share, Sister Janelle.
Okay, I'm here. I can't come on camera today. I'm supposed to be working. I was only supposed to be listening on YouTube, but I just got so inspired that I had to jump in on the conversation because I love your dad and the Senior Olympics. That's just amazing. I'm like, I can't even see myself running 200 or 300 meters, let alone a long jump. You know what? That's right there. That's a life story. Forget about the family legacy. That's a legacy for the people. So look, go on, Dad. That's a big one right there. But it got me to thinking. And sometimes we hear our parents talking and we don't hear them talking at the same. Those things that you don't hear are the things that have the biggest impact on you. So for me, that family legacy, I remember how we all just kind of stuck together. It wasn't Sunday dinners. It was weekend dinners. That's what I'll call them. Because in our family, my grandparents' house was the hub of everything. And on Friday, we were coming over. On Saturday, we were coming over. On Sunday, we were coming over. If it was the holiday, we were coming over. And then usually my mom and her sisters would have a plan, or us kids would hatch a plan where we would pretty much just figure out one person's house that we all wanted to be at so that we could all kind of be together, create memories together. And those memories are some of the best things that we have, but they're not documented. So this is inspiring me to next week when we plan our family reunion, just as we get to that pivotal part where nobody agrees and throw off their focus. But I definitely want to do something like this, and this is something I know that I can actually put into place because I am my mother's daughter. She was the first sibling to graduate from college. Her sister was the first one to graduate from a trade school. So there are stories there, but most of them aren't here to tell them. So we would have to tell so that the next generation can be inspired by that. And I think that's a big part of what's missing with us right now. So I'm motivated right now. Look, now sometimes I'm out here with you, Freddie. Look, and I get all riled up and I get motivated. But right now, I already started typing stuff. And again, I'm supposed to be working right now. So I'm not getting what I'm supposed to be getting done accomplished, but that's okay because it's Sunday and this is important. Like this is a big important
to my hand.
and then I will just share one other thing real quick, just a quick family memory. It's about to come up now. My oldest cousin, he was the third oldest male cousin. He decided that we were going to have a great celebration and tribute to our moms while we were at my grandparents' home. And the next door neighbor had rose bushes. So he's to pick their rose bushes. And when he did that, he wanted to take all of the credit for it. But afterwards, that's not quite how it went. My grandmother asked us, where did we get these beautiful flowers from? And one of my little cousins said, of course, excited, we got them from the neighbor's house. We got them from the neighbor's house. And she said, and did you ask the neighbors, did you take them? And he said, we didn't know we had to ask. And she said, yeah, they planted those. Those weren't free. And we waiting for him to say something. And he threw us all under the boat. Not only did he throw us under the boat, but that was the first time that I had ever in my life had somebody go pick out a switch to whip our tails. And she lined us up successively to get our tails whipped. I had never had my tail beat with a. I felt like I was going through the ancestors with that tribal mess. I said, you know what? We ain't listening to you no more. I don't care that you the oldest. You got us all in their word. You didn't even cop to the fact that it was you who initiated this master plan and you supposed to be the oldest. Bless his soul and may he continue to just be out there. But it was one of the most traumatic and yet one of the best family stories that all of us have to share. It was one of many good childhood memories because giving people roses on Mother's Day is a great idea. Note to self, buy them. Don't take them from the neighbors. But it was a lesson learned, but yeah, I'm just excited about this. I can't wait to hear more people's stories.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for sharing, sister. Brother Grady.
Can you hear me, Brother Freddie?
Yes.
In urban intellectual community?
Yes, yes.
All right, Freddie, you brought up the question, what does it mean to be Black in America? And I can't help but think about what my friend introduced me and friend slash good brother, what we discussed about the W.E. Du Bois double consciousness. And here lately, for me, being a Black man and Black working class man in America, that spirit of W.E. Du Bois, double consciousness, meaning like, not walking through this America society as a Black man, a Black woman blind in terms of mental thought, is looking at this American society in your own lens of glasses as a Black man, not white folks. So meaning, that shades of gray BS that they try to throw on us, they don't work for us. That works for them. Or whatever Black person they allowed to, they whatever Black man or woman that will allow them to throw that at them, man. So for me, being black in America, I look at the lens of a black man being in America, the double consciousness or aspect. And meaning like the biases, towards us, and always being stereotyped by like nosy Karen, or always being feared by like police officers, even black ones, always being like marginalized politically, and always being miseducated, and always told that, the trauma I went through don't mean the damn thing and I should get over it. Well, F that. Like Ice Cube and NWA said, F the police, F that. It tell me to forget about the trauma we went through. So yeah, that's what it means to me, what it means to be black to me in America, in that spirit of W.E. Du Bois, and looking at this American society through my own damn lenses, not through Mr. Charlie lenses, not through Nosy Karen lenses, and definitely not through Becky Sue lenses, because they ass will mislead you every damn time. Because, like I said, Freddie, when you are guilty of committing one of the most heinous crimes against God, man, against God, and you never repented for it, and then add insult to injury, you painted God in your damn image to enslave a people, man, that's cruel as a mother. And man, and you can't expect God to be. I mean, God has been merciful to this nation, no doubt. But man, it comes to time like that parent when your child keep on disrespecting you, that you spank that ass. I mean, excuse my French, brother Freddie. And we seeing that with these like wildfires and these unpredictable weather patterns that got these white folks scared, and even some of us that not, as I said before, looking at this society as black people through the lens of double consciousness. So, Freddie, that's all I'm gonna say, brother. You got me fired up on that question,
Yeah.
what it means to be black in America, Freddie. Man, don't you dare ask that question and Brother Brown on the line, man, and think I ain't gonna respond.
So you diving in on that one. Yeah, they
Boy,
say
you almost made me go Tupac and Ice Cube, bro.
they say he turned up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right, brother.
all right, good brother. All right, Miss D, come on into the discussion.
Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Sunday. I wanted to jump in just to kind of chime in on the conversation. I heard family stories. What would you pass down? But what would it be like, being me in today's world? I took a couple notes. So one of the things that I hold to, my grandmother passed down to me, and she would tell me about how mother gave it to her. She was pulled on a cotton bag, and it would be peppers and tomatoes, strawberries, cucumbers, just all this stuff. And she always had marigolds and roses. And I'm like, Grandma, why you don't plant some of the other plants like tulips or something like that? She like, no, I put these 4 o'clocks out there. And that was her garden. And she would have like collard greens, and then we would pick those, go harvest, get the stuff ready, store it so that we can prepare to cook for the rest of the year, at least through the winter. And 60, 70, 80 people come through the house, Thanksgiving, Christmas, just big family gatherings. My grandmother had 7 children. 2 of them passed early in life, but she held strong. She was strong to that culture. And that's something that I've taken from her. And I'm like, okay, I need marigolds and I need 4 o'clocks, but I'm of the intellectual age. So I got to go to the books and figure out like, okay, what's the measurements? How does this go? I need the nitrate and the phosphorus. And, I'm in here scientifically. And the marigolds keep the mosquitoes away, and the 4 o'clock draws the bees in that pollinates the cucumbers and the tomatoes, so you don't have to go out there shaking and trying to do it yourself. It was masterful, right? Big dinners, bringing the family together. This is a woman that her husband told her he wasn't buying her a dress so she can go out and kick it with a girl. So she said, okay, and went out and worked for Sarah Lee in the office for 36 years. Back in the 50s and the 60s, when it's like, what? Wait a minute. So grandma knew something. She balanced the budget like nobody's business. My grandfather, he did carpentry, he did construction. My mother, fierce, no more than an 8th grade education, but she speaks as if she went to college. My father, a carpenter, an appreciative man, hardworking, fun, right? Doing what they can, all the while hearing that knowledge is power. And if you want to have anything from a, you know, you just put it in a book. And it's like, oh, I gotta look in the book for it. So everything was a message to get you to the book. Pay attention, and you pull together. And your whole thing is to protect the children, because that's who they come for. You got to watch your girls when you send them here. You got to watch your boys when you send them there. You got to protect the children. These are the things that I passed down. That's what I got in the midst of the fight, when I looked at the wrinkles and the permanent frowns in their faces while they doing the 2-step to my last $2, right? These are the things that I hand down. You got to go back, put your hand in the earth. You got to connect with your people. You have to pay attention. Put your hands together. You help one another, and you protect the children while you pulling together. That's what I got for y'all this Sunday. Be blessed, guys.
Thank you. That was awesome.
Yes, thank you for that.
I'll come back around for my being Black in America. Y'all done already heard me, expound a couple times on this thing. So I'll be back around.
Okay, my bad. I was on mute. I didn't realize that.
Can I step in, Brother Freddie?
Yes, sir. Come on in, Brother Kenneth.
Peace and blessings to everyone.
Peace and blessings.
And I this is like I put in the chat, this is my second time. And y'all got me so full off the appetizer. And this is something which generational, this type of stuff can tear up our generational curse and put us on a path of righteousness, put us on a path of wisdom. Because this is one of our best kept secrets right here. This Sunday dinner, because the way technology is today. Now you get on TikTok and other platforms. They have people from all over the world on those platforms. See, this needs to be a worldly platform, because who better can motivate a people than that own people? And we've talked about our history, and technology, certain things are created to help dummy us down. I remember, the old phone, the rotary phone, and putting the phone numbers in the black book and remembering numbers. Now we have our cell phones, and what do we hit? We hit the name. We know the name, but we don't know the number. The brain is a muscle. The brain is a muscle that needs to be exercised. And based on technology and stuff like that, a lot of us, me included, is being dummied down through technology. because sometimes I'll do this technology thing and forget the actual research or a book or to study or to open up a book and something like that. And going back to what I wish I could do all over again, I came up in this project in Bridgeport, Connecticut called Father Panic Village. And my grandmother, who was the glue of the family, she played numbers the old way. And she would make sure. Hello? Can you hear me?
But somebody unmuted. They got the.
Yeah, my grandmother would make sure that my mother, who was working, my stepfather, who was working, on Friday, make sure that paycheck, they would sit down at the table. And as they sit down at the table, they would put the money in my grandmother's hand. So in other words, they trusted her with the responsibility. And there was no questions asked. And she would give them allowances for the week. And they would accept it because that's what was in their budget. And she played these numbers and we end up getting a house on another side of town. And she kept playing the numbers and we end up getting another house, 2 houses on the same street. Now this instead of me looking at this as a lesson, okay, I ran from that. And I end up, going to high school, playing football, becoming a teenage dad, which took me away from a football scholarship at a Division I school. And then I hit the streets. And in making this fast money, I lost my way. And in losing my way, all these illusions and mirages, because I'm 70 years old, and the house that my grandmother brought in 64, I walk past that house now when I walk my dog. And tears come to my eye because that right there was part of a legacy that could have been left down to me, that I could have left down to my kids. But instead, I end up going to prison and I end up losing it. I own a home now, but we don't pass things down sometimes. Some of us do, some of us don't. But that's one of my curses right there that I deal with on a regular basis because I didn't absorb the wisdom and the knowledge that was right there in front of my face. I didn't embrace that. And that's why I do what I do now, brother. And working with youth, working with gang members, and things like that, because I owe a debt. And so now, because of my shortcomings, that's my driving force to help talk to young brothers and let them know what they can lose out if they don't pay attention to their family lineage. Because there's a lesson within your own household. And if you miss that message, you can end up on the wrong side of the family tree. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you, good brother. Appreciate you. All right. Yes, a lot of stories are trapped inside of our families, right? So I think it's powerful that we're having this conversation and having this conversation and flushing it out, sharing with one another, right? So it's always good. That's how I was raised. Oh, okay. I think I read through that. All right. Yeah. Anybody else want to share some of your stories or family stories that you wish maybe more of us should be aware of? Right? Are there any?
I would like to, Freddie.
Yes, please come on into the discussion.
Oh, that's right. I got to unmute myself. I gotta find. Oh, I'm unmuted, but I can't find myself. I don't see me. So
I
I'm
hear
Jean.
you.
I'm Jean Evans Moore. I live in West Virginia. I'm back where I started. Um, First thing I thought about, basically about my childhood, my story that I'd like to tell is I was raised in an environment where it was like multi generations. We did have a bed to sleep in, but there were so many of us. I remember, and my grandfather was a coal miner, and a number of uncles, when they were home in West Virginia, they would work the coal mines. When a strike would come, they would leave and go to the city and do something else. But anyway, I remember when I was 5 years old, the family, my grandfather always had a big garden. He had 20 acres, and we had this house, which now I recognize was pretty raggedy, but it was safe. A nail over the door kept it closed from the wind. My older cousins came and woke me up and said, and we called out, everybody called granddaddy daddy. We knew it was our grandfather, but that was, you say what the adults say. So, but that's my first memory of finally I got a chance to join the family. My job was to drop 3 pieces of corn in the holes. And my cousin behind me was covering it up or whatever. But that's really stuck with me so much. But also, my aunt was a hairdresser. So on Saturday, she'd have all these customers come in to get their hair done. And of course, we know women. I'm one. I sure like those ears of corn you have out there in the garden. And Granddaddy would send me, my cousin and I, make us go pick some corn to give to Miss What's her name because she admired it. Didn't accept any money. Wouldn't let her give us any either. But anyway, so that's what my childhood. So it's like, okay, you share, blah, 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 without money. And adults, and you're talking about your father, I have done Senior Olympics also. I think I did a couple times. Yeah. But anyway, my personal story that I like to share, well, my relatives all know about it anyway, is at the age of, I was 64 and a half, I did my very first marathon, and it was in Kona, Hawaii. I had never had any desire to go to Hawaii. That was it. By that time, I had done lots of training, whatever, and I met lots of people who had done marathons and whatever. And I hear them talk about being sore, and I said, now that is absolutely stupid. You go out and you do something and you're in pain afterwards and you do it again? That is pure stupidity. Okay, fine. I did my first marathon in Kona. I don't remember the pain coming home. But anyway, that was in that was in the previous century, let's put it that way. I got hooked. I did a marathon in all 50 states in, I think it was 3 years and maybe 8 months. Alaska was my 50th state. One of the things you do, and when people are talking to you about this, first of all, they don't believe you. No, not in my age. I said, so what happens with me, people just couldn't make these casual comments about being too old or whatever. I said, that won't work with me. That won't work with me, whatever. So that was a very important part of my life. And it's also was something that kept me healthy because of what I was doing. All right, so I think I know I did over 150 marathons, and then I kind of like, but my friends, I was a kid. I still is nothing compared to the people that were my marathon buddies. Oh, Oh, yep, he did 1,000. His goal is 1,000. She did 1,000, whatever. I just didn't have the desire to keep doing that over and over and over. But as a result, I have other cousins, some that are way in New Jersey, whatever. Every now and then I'll read about one of them. They've done a race. They did a 5K. They did or something or other. Like Aunt Jean or Cousin Jean, I get called both. But so that's the thing. One of the things I did do that I talk about, one of our runners, he was a little older than I, and he was from Florida. He set up something called the Savage 7. 7 marathons in 7 days. It's 180 something or other miles. I don't quite remember, but I have a t-shirt that tells you how many miles it is. Okay. I have always preferred doing something that was a challenge as opposed to the easier way. That's why my first race was a marathon, and that was to raise money for the American Heart Association. And as I said, I chose a marathon because, frankly, I had no desire to go to Hawaii, and it was longer than a half marathon. And we had to raise 5,000. I had to raise 5,000 something dollars for that race. Anyway, I got it done. So continuing to do that kind of thing has been important to me, and I have done it. At this point in my life, I did my last marathon in 2019, and that was in Virginia. One of the things that people see me, and they can see how healthy I am. And I just say to them, I said, my issues do not show on the outside. My issues are in the inside, because I do have some health issues. I think talking about the races, the things you have to do, you have to find your race, you have to find your transportation, you got to figure this all out yourself, because you're not getting paid to do this. People that get paid are basically the people from other countries that can do this and can do this very quickly. And they are paid, and that's how they support their families and their communities, whatever. But I never had any desire to do something like this. I never thought about it, frankly. I just happened to do it because I got information about the heart. And that was one of the things that the Heart Association, American Heart Association, used to raise funds for research. But that's it. And one of the things that I know, and I said it has to do with the way people were brought up, tend to put you down for things. Tend to, you're bragging. Well, if you don't brag, who's going to know that you accomplished it? You're keeping good information away from people instead of sharing it with them. I went to college. I started college because at that point I was divorced from my kid's father, and I wanted them to go to college, and I let them know. And I was working, also had been working for years. I will pay half of your college. I would like you to be able to have an intelligent conversation, even if you are digging a ditch. It's as simple as that. Not one of them asked me to pay for their college because I knew how to sign my name on things. I introduced my daughter to a banker. I'd met a black banker. I lived in Rhode Island at the time. We lived in Rhode Island, which is kind of similar to terms of populations, similar to West Virginia. I introduced Tanya to a black banker. And I said, okay, So all 3 of my kids did go to college. And I'm back here in West Virginia, widowed and living alone and not loving it, because I like some company every now and then, somebody to talk to. So I did have somebody for a while there. We like to play a game, a board game. But I think it would help people who don't share their lives very much. You don't really know, is there a family history? Do you have a family history of heart disease? That's a question that I just recently had to answer. And I didn't know because I haven't heard anybody talk about it. I called my brother. He had the same kind of answer. Well, I haven't heard anybody say whatever. But anyway, I like this idea very much. I appreciate, her name is Deborah Miller, I believe. I appreciate Miss Miller's story about what she is doing, what her family is doing. So I think it might not get any further than my head and my pen, what I can write, but I like this idea. Thank you very much. And so when's the food coming?
You talk about me, Deborah Mitchell?
Mitchell, yeah, because I think I said Miller. Yes.
Yeah, Mitchell.
Yes. Yeah, thank you
When's
for
the
your
food
story.
coming?
I like that. I like that very much. So I will use some time and energy to get something written.
Thank you for your story, ma'am.
Clearly.
I love it. All right, Jantra, did I see you with your hand up?
Yes, you did, but then I put it down because I didn't want to be, what was I going to say? I was going to wait. I wanted to share quickly about not to make light of what anybody ever is going through intergenerationally in terms of trauma or sad childhood experiences, but there's a remedy and a cure for everything. And one of the methods that has helped a lot of people to address what trauma they have gone through as a child, as a young adult, in this world within their family dynamics, is understanding about how to do shadow work and to understand what that means. And there's a book titled The Momentum, a shadow work guide and journal. But it helps people step by step begin to understand, not to make light of anything, but there's a way to come out of the trauma so that at the age of 21, you're not still carrying what crap happened to you or what you knew happened to other people when you were 10 or 12 or 15 years old. But we have reconciled with those experiences so that we are moving forward and not carrying trauma into our adulthood. Does that make sense to anybody?
Mm-hmm. Did you put that in the chat so I can write the name of the book down?
Absolutely, ma'am. Is that my sister?
What's your sister?
My sister.
I got something to say, Freddie, if you let me go.
Yeah, go ahead. And Jantra, you can put the name of the book.
I watched Roland Martin Unfiltered. I don't know how many of y'all watch Roland. I watched Uncle Roro, and he had on about the black farmers. Did you know the story of the black farmers? I'm a storyteller, so I got to tell you stories. The black farmer has a big black hat on, and he came and talked about he said everybody need to get 5 acres of land. Get 5 acres of land. Because if we have our land, that's what we can stop. The land's going to be coming out, but the black farmers were dissed by the Trump administration, and not just black farmers, but the white farmers. They're trying to take away the land. They don't want to pay the $5 billion they're supposed to get. So he said everybody needs to go on Roland Cooper, go on, what's his name? Roland Martin, and Google the segment on the black farmers. And he said everybody need to upload that on their website, on their social media. I'm giving you some action items. I'm also an activist. I'm the founder of Natick for Black Lives Matter, Metro West. You need to upload the episode on the black farmers from Roland Martin Unfiltered. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I got to say. And get your 5 acres. Grandma out.
Grandma out. I like it. All right. Can I don't know, somebody put the link down there. I think that is, we have the notes, Sunday dinner notes. I believe that the list of Black farmers is in the notes, the discussion notes. I don't have those handy, but I have to make sure that we send out a link to it, and so that you can have them. But yeah, we definitely love to send along the information. YouTube episode, okay, Roland Martin Unfiltered on Black farmers, right? All right, Jantra dropped the name of the book she was discussing. All right, I don't know. Let's keep the conversation going. But one thing I do want to say is, hopefully you are following us on our social network, right? So we have our own social networks. I want to make sure that y'all get an invitation to come over here. If you just go to SankofaUniverse.com. There we go. Oh man, that didn't link. But yeah, so if you go to SankofaUniverse.com, that'll take you over here. Let me put it correct. Yeah, and we can keep the conversation going. So that's my thought, is to have these conversations, and then for us to continue the engagement in cyberspace, right? But this is a platform that's owned by us, so we can control the content, what's seen and what's being done. But more importantly, you can actually get and receive content with one another, right? Because the algorithm don't let us see a lot over on Facebook, right? And man, y'all, if you're in one of our membership programs, or if you're one of our VIP customers, please watch your emails, because if you missed Saturday, we had Akeisha Johnson come out and do an interview for our podcast series. But we invite you to the behind the scenes of the interview, so that one, you can get it early, but two, you can be part of the Q&A and get your questions answered directly. This episode will be out in a few weeks, but it's just always an opportunity to connect early. But over there on the social network, we have all of our interactions are going on. I can break all of this down another time, but when you sign up, right, I do want to direct you to, you can see more on mine than what you see on yours, right? But I want to direct you to the history section, and we have certain videos outlined for you. So if you're interested in doing a deeper dive into history, our culture, and our consciousness, I curated a little list here based on some things that I know is pretty interesting, right? So if you aren't familiar with the Great and Mighty Walk, you can catch that. And I think, I got to update this. I'm glad I went through here. If you're not familiar with Goodbye Uncle Tom, Google that, or look for that on YouTube to check that out. If you like, a lot of people say like, oh, Roots was, like a raw view of what that experience might have looked like. Actually, Roots is like rated R at best, right? This make Roots look like PG, and I'm not. You just got to see it. It's a different type of experience. But anyway, I'll get that updated. Oh man, a lot of them are broken. Okay. All right, but anyway, so we're curating different types of information for our community over here. So I want to definitely invite you to make sure that you come over and engage us on Sankofa Universe. Again, it's free. It's a social network that's owned by Urban Intellectuals. This is in our collection, and we have 276 members, right? So it's like a small thing over there. And there is a mobile app for Apple right now only. We're working on our Android credentials, and we'll be updating it and all that. But I'm just trying to make it easier for you to get over on the platform so that we can continue these discussions. So I love to have them here at Sunday dinner, and we can get some things done. We can expound on the conversation. We can be heard. We can be seen. We can enjoy the conversations. But then I want to keep it going throughout the week on the social platform to keep the engagement up and keep the information flowing, right? So as more and more information becomes available, we can make it available to the community to empower them. Sunday, yeah, thank you, everybody. All right, yeah, thank you, Portillo. Thank you for coming. Appreciate you. So I want to, all right, stick around until 4:30. So we got like another maybe 45 minutes. I want to share like one other thing with you. Oh, wow, this is on my mind. Make sure that you also sign up for our AI summit that is happening Tuesday. Make sure you come out for that. That's absolutely free, but it's going to be, it was interesting because we were talking about, um, man, who was somebody that's homeschooler was talking about working through their issues, working through curriculum and all of that, but AI can assist with all of this stuff, right? And I think how we look at AI is should be a little bit different. It's just an assistant, right? It's just an easy way to access some information, and like the almost gone are the days of Googling something. Like you don't even got to go to Google. You can just go to your AI platform and ask the question and then get the answer, or get the lead, or get have your idea crunched in a better way. Just come out on Tuesday. It'll be worth it. Like if you like any of the engagement and the conversations that we host here at Urban Intellectuals, you'll not only enjoy Tuesday, it'll be empowering for you. Because I can tell you I use AI regularly. And
Can I expound too, brother?
Yeah, go for it. What was that?
Yes, brother. You know, AI is near and dear to my heart. I'm not a tech. I'm not a tech person, you know, but I'm formerly incarcerated, brother, and I work with men and women getting out of prison, right? AI has helped me put together some survey data. So when I go into the prison, I've had AI put together certain documents that ask questions that really makes these men and women think. Because one thing about being it's not normal for us to be in a cage, being told what to do, when to do it, when to get up, when to lay down, what to eat, when to wash your own behind. You know, that's not normal. And so it's trauma. I don't care how old we are. If we go to prison and relax and conform to like we do, because some of us are real violent and negative in the streets, but when we go to prison, we don't get in no trouble. We can follow the rules. And this thing called post incarceration syndrome that it is a traumatic experience because of the lack of while you are incarcerated. And I've utilized AI to counteract. And if I do a class with individuals who get out of prison, and I do an assessment with them, and then I can also create an individualized success plan for them to follow based on surveys and assessments that AI has that I fed into AI and have AI create. So AI in tune with this vast informational database, so to speak, will actually write formulas for men and women and help them get on track. And it don't have to be nobody who's been incarcerated. You can ask AI to write you a prescription, a formula for you based on what you feed into AI. So I've been writing individualized success plans for a number of brothers and sisters getting out of prison just based on the surveys and their responses to those surveys. So whether they follow them or not, that's their choice. But I want to make sure that they have this tool and try not to recidivate, because I want to give them a plan of action, at least for them to follow for the next year or two. And AI will also, if you're Canva ready, AI will also help you put a newsletter together, a PowerPoint presentation together. You know, that's why I'm excited about Tuesday's workshop. Thank you, brother.
Yeah, no problem, brother. Thank you for the insight and the excitement for Tuesday's workshop, right? Because it is, I mean, if you are just being exposed to this, if you have been using this, you are still going to be blown away. So I think you're definitely going to enjoy Tuesday. But for those of you that might not have ever seen it or anything like that, like, let me just show you something real crazy and practical. Not crazy, but crazy simple and practical, right? I got an abundance of bananas, right? Don't ask me why. Right? I eat bananas every day. I put it in my oatmeal. I just don't be wanting to run out of bananas. The worst thing, I eat the same thing every morning, right? I eat oatmeal, bananas with raisin in it, and a little bit of cinnamon. That's like my breakfast every morning, right? And like the not having the bananas, it just ain't the same, right? It ain't the same. So I always got bananas. So I ended up buying like a crazy amount. So, you know, I'm like freezing bananas, like it's bad, right? So I'm like, all right, I need to make some smoothies or something. So I literally just got on my AI platform. I got on ChatGPT and I said, I have an abundance of bananas. I don't want them to go bad. I got some chopped, got some frozen ripe bananas. I got almond milk, Greek yogurt, raisins, blah, blah, blah. Absolutely. And it just gave me what I can make based on the ingredients that I had. And like that took like seconds, right? It probably took me longer to type this out than for it to give me the recipe for what I can make in my blender on my smoothies. Gave me the instructions and all of that. And then I'm like, oh, you know what? I got peanut butter powder, cinnamon. All right, so I said that, and it's like, oh, perfect, bam. So then it gave me an updated batching instructions and everything like that, right? Like real simple, right? So again, it's not to replace your thinking, right? You still have to prompt it and ask it questions. But the fact of the matter is people will be using this to accelerate their output. But it's going to be great. So anyway, y'all going to love that. Yeah, banana protein shake. Yeah, it was great. Then I realized I had beetroots as powder as well. So I had that in there. Anyway, I got them now all mixed up. I'm excited, and I ain't waste my bananas, so that was big for me. All right, but I do want to share. So let me close out for our last 30 minutes. Let me play a little bit of this. So this is in line with the conversation we've been having, right? Cultural wealth, passing it along, capturing the stories of the elders, the family stories, and all of that. Well, I tell this story when we have our legacy meetings, but I was at a conference, right? And this was in 2023. I'm at this conference. It's in June, and I am talking to this woman, and she says, well, she's talking about the matriarch of her family, the storyteller of her family, right? The person who knows, the keeper of the stories, right, in your family. And she's this 84-year-old auntie, and she's talking about her knowing all the stories, you know, but nobody else in the family really knows the stories. She's just always been the one to share the stories. And I'm like, you know, have you interviewed her? Have you written down her information? Have you done any, you know, what type of effort have you put to capture this information? She was like, oh, you know, we haven't really done anything, but I think about it a lot. And I'm like telling her like, hey, you know, she's 84, right? She's not 34. So it's just not like we got time. And even at 34, you don't know if you got time, right? But I'm thinking like, you got to turn up the urgency and kind of capture this information. And as I'm talking to the person, I'm realizing that my dad's 93, right? And I don't have his stories, right? And then we lost mom in 2019, but we didn't slow down to capture her stories. So, I like leave out.
I'm sorry.
I leave out the conference and I go outside, I make a couple of phone calls. In 2 weeks, I like show up at my dad's with our cameraman, and we were going to chronicle his story. And then I realized we were going to chronicle his story, right? And bring out do like a documentary based story so we can have his story captured. But I did something wrong. Oh, 1 second. I wanted to, yeah, I got fancy doing something in here. Oh, I'm upset with myself. I'm trying to get the, okay, let me know if you can hear this. You should be able to hear some music playing.
Yes, I can hear music.
Yes, we can.
Okay. I'm gonna let a little bit of this play. That's my neighborhood that we grew up in. That's the
Remember Freddie Taylor or Mr. Taylor. No, I'm kidding myself. My name is Freddie Taylor. I'm an original Michiganite. Born over in Hamtramck, 1929. So I've been around a while, you know. And I've seen the changes made in what we call history time. My father was from, mother and father, they were from Georgia. My mother's from Statesboro, Georgia. And my father was from a place called Meta. And they were hooked together, but if you was going through Meta, you know, you wouldn't know you went through Meta until you saw a sign that said you just left Meta. That's how small it was.
And what was their names?
Meta, Georgia.
No, your parents' names.
Henry Taylor and Mary Taylor. And I remember my mother, she always used to say, because she came up here about 1923, 24, she always said, my father, Lemuel Parish, she was a parish before she married. And she always said, my father was an educated man, you know, and he was a Baptist minister. When he died in 1917, from 40 years old, he died from appendicitis, you know, kitchen table operation, you know, they lay on the kitchen table and cut it out and hope for the best, you know. But I intended to check that out too, because she said that he went to Morehouse, you know. He was a minister, you know, and he went to Moore, but I never did get around to do it. But he went to Morehouse in Atlanta there, you know. But some of the memories, I just remember taking trips sometime going down to Georgia. And maybe you might want, if you know one of our cultures, I don't know whether you want to call it a culture or not, but some of our limitation was you couldn't hardly get nothing to eat on the road, you know. You got to pay what they would say, you know. You couldn't go to a restaurant. So we had this habit of cooking some fried chicken and making you some cake, you know, and get your basket, because that's one of the you're going to eat, you know. And then when you went out, if you did want something, I remember close to my father used to say, tell my brother, we pull up to a store, and he's telling him go in there and get some bologna or whatever, you know. But I didn't understand why he told him to do it, but didn't understand racism, you know, see. And she sent him in there without getting the hassle from the folks, you know. You go in there, next thing you know, you got a problem. They want to lynch you because you didn't say something right, you know. Yeah. But anyway, that was sort of the way the trip was. But I experienced it, getting off of that, though. I experienced it when I married your mother. We was down there in Talladega, Alabama. And I was walking down the street, and this white woman came by, and we turned to the side to let her through, right, you know. And she turned around and she cursed us for everything. But I still didn't get what was going on, you know. But the thing was, I was supposed to got off the sidewalk into the street. But I didn't know that because I'm from Michigan, you know. You respect me, but you don't have to get off the sidewalk, you know. Until somebody on WCHB was talking about, down there on Battle Street, boy, you better not be caught not getting off the side. That was years later, I learned, you know, why I got cussed out so bad, you know. But that's just one of those things that happen, you know, in time. But I do remember my brother, he was in the military. He was at the Fort McCulloch, Alabama.
It's Harvey?
Harvey, yeah. And he used to tell me the way if you got off of duty, you couldn't walk down the main street, you know. They had a little side street for black people, you know. All these different things. There was racism at its finest, I guess, for somebody else. Yeah. So I'm quite sure this must have been sometime around slavery time, but I went down in 1936, and my grandmother's mother, I saw her, you know, Grandma Caroline, you know. But what I saw a white woman, you know. Grandma who? But I mean, that's how fair she was, you know. So this is what disturbs me so much. We got a mixture of all colors in our race. Why they want to say if you got an ounce of blood, you black? You know, if you really dug it up, now you find out half of the population is black. You know. Yeah. But I mean, I couldn't tell whether she was a black woman or not. But I know she was married to a black man. You know. My grandma was born in 1881. So that means that her mother had been born, you know, maybe in 1860. I mean, it was close to that Civil War thing, you know. But then you could take like part of my family, my mother's people were Mercers, and they were all of fair skin, you know. Then, you know, and my mother married a Parrish, you know. Not my mother. My mother married a Taylor. But her father was a Parrish. Like I said, I was down there in Meta, Georgia, went to a place called Fish Trap. There's some Baptist church out in the woods, you know. And that's where the cemetery was at, you know. So we was out there looking, you know, we found his tombstone says Samuel Parrish, died 1917, you know. And so one of my cousins said, you know, I'd have been out there helping y'all look except for them rattlesnakes. I said, them what? Get me out of here. I'm glad I seen the tombstone, but if I knew some rattlesnakes out there, I would have had to go. I wouldn't have been kicking no bushes or nothing, you know. Well, in 1929, Hamtramck was basically a Polish town. It had a few people, like a fringe of blacks on the outskirts that lived there. Like we lived there close to the railroad track. In fact, mostly giant black people were always on the outer skirmishes, you know, of a city. And we had maybe a couple of Italian people, a couple of Irish, but mostly was Polish people. You know, really a Polish town, Polish mayor, Polish police, and everything else like that. So it was integrated. Hamtramck was an integrated school, but even with the integration, we still had our boundaries, you know. And, they always got that thing like they had now, the first black this or the first black that, you know. And we had some pretty good people coming out of sports from Hamtramck, you know. In fact, Julius Franks, he was from Hamtramck, And he went to the University of Michigan, and he became All-American. And he went on to become a dentist, you know, and everything. So we had some pretty good things come out of Hamtramck. But like I said, you know, it's always that boundary that you have for black resuscitate. Yeah, memory, you know, it come a big blank.
But yeah, that's a little bit of the documentary we did. So I wanted to share that, right? To maybe give you some ideas, some thoughts to even kind of take the idea to the next level. Inside of our Legacy Builders program, we're working with our community for capturing these stories of the elders, of the family members, so that you can continue to learn and grow from them and pass it along to the future generations, right? And starting a trend in the family that you can start to build cultural wealth around. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that. That I tell you, and I said you can learn from, because I don't know if you can hear my voice in the background. I was there doing the filming, and you know, while Dad is talking, I'm like literally learning stuff about the family I've never heard before, right? So I thought that was like a really, really cool experience. If I maybe I'll do a video or something, like if I did it all over again, like what would I add? What would I take away? But just like right now, I know I would make sure that my siblings were there. And I would have liked to gotten their perspectives as well and wrapped it all in there. And I can go back and get them, you know, individually later. I just think like the energy in there would have been like great. I would have loved to have that. So anyway, that's just something I was thinking about, but hopefully I can give you some ideas. But that happened because I was having that discussion at the conference, and you know, urging the woman whose auntie was 94. I wish I kept in touch with the woman, or I couldn't even remember who she was, to see did she follow through with getting hers. But that urged me to call the videographer and get them out and kind of make this happen. But I'm really glad that we did. You know, I regret I didn't do it with my mom, right? Again, because 2019, but I used that to the conversation with our legacy group, right? Our Sankofa legacy members are going into that program, is because we don't know, you don't know, tomorrow's not promised, right? Like, so there's some things that we need to do collectively as individuals and families to really shore up some things before we make our exit, right? Because I guess he is risen, but we're not at some point, right? Like at some point, this game or this life is going to end. Because again, I don't know what happens after life, but all I can promise is you're not going to get out of it alive. So there are some things that we need to do inside of ourselves and our families to put them in a position to win. And I think capturing these stories, these opportunities to get these cultural moments to build and put into your cultural wealth, right, that you can pass along to the next community is important. I wish I would have done it for my mom, but I just press the urgency on you, right, and the rest of us, right, because now I want to do it on my siblings, you know, my uncles. Like, we got to start getting that into the rest of the family. But that's kind of where things are going, right? And I love the generational wealth conversations, right? I'm a business owner, right? I believe in ownership. I believe in solving problems. I believe in investing. I believe all of these things are really, really important. But they're not the only things, right? And we want to pass down wealth and money, but we need to pass down a code of conduct, a creed, a belief, something that lives and breathes in us as a people, not just dollar signs and assets, again, which are important. But I like to think about it in terms of, what if America and its currency went away? Like, is that how we're defining who we are as a people, that what we've been and done on this planet? We're defining ourselves by the material value that we can give, that we can accumulate, or are we something different? Are we something bigger? Are we change makers? Are we people of value, meaning that when we come around, we add value to the area? Do we leave things better than when we first encountered them? Do we build coalitions or do we tear people down and apart? Are we a cancer or are we part of the cure? Right? Like, who are we as a people? What issues in the world do we attack? Do we solve? What's our code of conduct? How do we act among one another? How do we act towards the community around us? How do we empower those that we can? Who are we and what are we about? What if we started passing along something more than just money, right? Because it don't matter how much money y'all accumulate if your people ain't worth nothing, right? So we got to start. I just want us to start thinking a little bit differently. We ain't got a lot of time to be playing. Like, I don't want to. I ain't got to scare you no more, right? Like, you see what's happening around you. You see what's been happening the last few decades.
Yeah.
Right? But we don't got time to play. So, like, let's continue to build and grow. Let's get these bricks in place. Let's start to do these things amongst ourselves and our families. And let's start to build coalitions amongst one another. So I really appreciate y'all, hanging out on Sunday dinner with me. Hopefully you've gotten some inspiration, some jewels of motivation. I'll leave the conversation or leave the mic open, as they say, for the last 15 minutes to kind of get your final thoughts before we go ahead and close it out. So you can raise your Zoom hand and jump in here. I would love to hear from you. Hey, if this is your first time to Sunday dinner, definitely grab the microphone. I definitely want to hear from you. Like, let us know your thoughts on how did you enjoy the show, the programming, all of that good stuff. All right. So we got a couple of hands up. All right, Sister Deborah.
So, do you teach how to do this in Urban Intellect? How you did the interview with your father? Is that part of a project, legacy project that you are presenting to us to do somewhere?
Yeah, inside of our legacy, Sankofa Legacy Builders program, this is part of the curriculum that we're building out. I don't even know. Let me see if I got a link to that. Because we normally have these on Tuesday, but
okay, so I can check it out and find it.
Yeah,
so,
you can join here. This will be for next Tuesday, not this Tuesday coming up.
Yeah,
So
because I
next
think that's
Tuesday.
really great. I think that's really great. My mother did a Mother's Day message to the family as part of our church. She was the mother of the church, and she gave us her philosophy, her everything. And she said the thread in the family was the Lord Jesus Christ, and we have to teach those values to the next generation. We have to be the teachers to the next generation. So yesterday I was playing that video with my nephew. And he says, wow, I wasn't ready to hear Nana's voice, but we have it. And so I think that's so important to have that, because that's another way of building wealth. So I'm going to definitely sign up for this.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Appreciate it. See you on next Tuesday.
I would like to speak, but I can't see the thing to thumbs up thing that you were talking about. Can you hear me?
Is that Darva?
Yes.
Yes.
That's me. I can't see the thing to say I wanted to speak.
Okay. Go ahead. I got you.
I mean, okay. Good afternoon. This is Holy Week, Holy Day, the holiest probably month of the year. I wanted to say that I am so excited to be here. You don't know, but I've been following you and your products, everything that you're doing for the last, probably all during COVID and after COVID. I don't know you and I didn't know of you, but I've been supporting you on my Facebook pages and places like that. Everything that you're doing, I'm doing also. And it's just like many people today don't have the right mindset. Everything you just closed out with, I just want to commend you on that because I'm on all kind of radio shows. I have a lot. I don't want to talk about myself anymore because I do a lot, but I get a chance to let people see who I am for the last 40, 50 years of my community work and things of that sort. What I would like to do is do the unity type thing. That's what I do on the VOA and radio stations and all over in other countries and places like that. What I would like to see done is what you were saying. um, it's kind of hard for our people to bring unity. I don't know what it is, but I've been in politics. I've been in marketing. I worked with millionaires when I was a young girl. And the lady mentioned Hawaii. I went there when I was 12, 13 with my sister while she was attending the University of Hawaii. There is so many great things that I have done, but I want to do it as a collaborative type of thing. And I think that what you are doing is so, and I've been following you all these years and just listening and watching and just seeing what you're doing. And so what I would like to do, because time is winding down, I don't want to get into a lot of conversation because I want to close this out real quick, but I think that this is an opportunity right now that the people in Chicago, all across the nation, I have friends in other countries, for real, India, Africa, the trips and all the stuff that you're doing. So I think God has led me to you because it's kind of hard to bring people together that doesn't have the right mindset. My first political campaign was with the late Mayor Harold Washington when I was 22 years of age. And so I'm bringing that up to say that, and I'm still dealing with his legacy right now. I'm doing a petition for him to get a birthday celebration. No one has given Harold Washington the credit that he, the legacy that he has left for our Black people in political arena. So what I would like to do with you, sir, and your whole team or whomever, I would like to be part of whatever you guys are doing on any type of level. And so that we as a whole, not just like you said, I've been in real estate and business and all this other stuff. It's all about coming together. And I'm very spiritual. I have a ministry on that. But what I want to do is I'm getting into the mindset of our people so that we as a whole can do what our ancestors have done, which we need to keep giving them the credit, because without the Harriet Tubmans and all of the rest of it, and Marcus Garvey and Noble Drew Ali, all those type of people, that's who I'm following. And that's who we need to look up to. And that's what we need to do. If they came out of slavery, inventing most of everything that was invented across this America, why can't we do it today when we have more Black politicians, pastors, and everyone that has millions of dollars, Black in Hollywood or whatever? Why we just can't come together and bring our wealth together to do what the word of God said? He said, I'm going to take the wealth of the wicked and I'm going to give it to the righteous. So our wealth is the reparations, but we got to first do right by our people. And I want to work with you on any level or anything that you are doing, my brother. So please call on me.
All right. I love that. Appreciate that, sister. Thank you. Thank you for paying attention to what we've been doing, right? We've definitely been at this for a minute. I'll drop, you can always just shoot an email to Tamiko at urbanintellectuals.com. I'll drop that down in the comments. But Tamiko always controls my schedule. I blame her for everything. She ain't here, so don't tell her I said it. But no, she knows. But that's true. She definitely controls my schedule. But I'm always open to a conversation and find some synergy, right? Janelle, come on back into the convo. You telling?
I'm back. Yeah, I'm telling Tamiko because she does everything. You don't get to see her like that. Man, that's crazy that you can even say something that foolish. But anywho, I'm just so dang, my word just left me that fast. Woo. I'm just so excited about this. I have already reached out to Miss Deborah and back. I got good information from her. I've already reached out to my sister. And again, I had a project I was supposed to be working on. I'm writing a grant right now, but I haven't done much grant writing in the past 2 hours, but that's okay. I get it done. Nothing like that that crunch to get it done, that last minute adrenaline kicking in. But
Yeah.
I am just I'm just excited. I loved hearing all the stories. You look just like your dad, honest to goodness. You look just like your dad. And that's just a beautiful thing. And he was just so optimistic. And he said he didn't know he was supposed to get on the sidewalk. Nobody told him about that type of foolishness. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's right, Dad, because that is foolishness. So he did the polite thing. He got out the way, but get off the whole sidewalk, ma'am, that's a bit much. So he did good, and it was just nice to have that. So I don't know if my family's going to be videotaping all of that. I think I'm gonna have enough just getting the stories out of them. But anybody that I can videotape for, I think that would be. And I said videotape. That's so old. Anybody that I can just record their moments and their memories, even at the family reunion, I think that would be a great thing. I just love that. It was so nice.
Yeah, I think the family reunion creates a great stage for you. Because you got the people there, they're captivated, they're there, and you don't need a whole lot, right? So yeah, it's just a great opportunity, right? And whatever you get is more than what you got. So don't beat yourself up over it.
That's true. That's true. I'm just gonna go in there with my little camera and make it do what it does.
Yeah. No, it was, yeah. I mean, it's just a good experience, something good to have, and I just want to make sure that we're doing, I mean, we always try to put some sort of positive charge on our community. So I think this is definitely a move in a good direction. All right. Anybody else? Any last and final thoughts? I got a couple of more minutes. First timers, your first time here. What did you think? I would love to hear from you. What did you think about Sunday, your first Sunday dinner? Grandma been looking for y'all. I ain't want to tell y'all that, but she's been disappointed you hadn't been showing up. So she glad that you made it. Peach cobbler for everybody. And so y'all stayed to the end, so everybody gets some peach cobbler on the way out. Grandma said she was only
Hey,
saving.
Freddie.
Hey, good brother, come on in.
Yes, sir. I was reading on the chat, and the initials JS. Could I shout out my email for her?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, is healing.
Or you probably could just drop it down in the comments.
Okay, I did. I just want to make sure she has it.
Okay.
Okay, it's healing at TUM Academy at gmail.org. Thank you, brother.
All right, no problem, no problem. Yeah, okay. Any other final thoughts before we clear up out of here and enjoy the rest of Easter Sunday? All right, I think y'all are good. All right, another inspiring. Yes. All right, I'm glad y'all enjoyed it. Oh, I love it. I'm glad y'all enjoyed it and had a good session, right? A good session here at at Sunday dinner, right? Family dinner. I got family on the brain. So I'm glad you enjoyed your session here. Hopefully y'all can make it out Tuesday for our AI summit coming up this Tuesday. Everyday AI. Let me drop that link one more time. You can make sure that you sign up for this one here. You're going to love it. Yeah, happy Resurrection Sunday. Hey, Gwen, you made it. All right, as we on our way out, right? But no, it's definitely been a good discussion. See y'all Tuesday. Make sure y'all make it on out. But stay plugged in to your emails, everything that's going on here at Urban Intellectuals. Again, there's always a lot that's happening, but we're operating with you at the best interest, and we're going to continue to deliver and empower our community. That's our effort. That's our promise. That's our work. So hopefully you enjoyed Sunday dinner. Hopefully you got what you needed. I know I'm leaving full, but I am going to grab me some peach cobbler on the way out. So I appreciate y'all until Tuesday, but next week, next Sunday, I'll be back for Sunday dinner again. Until then, love, peace, and power to the people. So good evening, good afternoon, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Have a blessed week. See you
Have a
Tuesday.
blessed week, everyone.
Have a blessed week. You too, Freddie.
Thank
Keep
you
that
again.
flag for me too. Bye-bye.
Shalom.
Thank you, guys.
And let me get some of that cobbler, Freddie.
Appreciate y'all. Y'all have a blessed rest of the day. And always enjoy all of the good spiritual, inspirational conversations, y'all. Y'all keep pushing forward.
Yes, sir. Stay prayed up.
Straight from the Ville, home of the champ. All right, Freddie.
Yes, sir. Peace and blessings, everybody.